Hello, football fans. Welcome to the first edition of the SEC Kickoff. I'm Vince Dooley, former football coach and athletic director at the University of Georgia. All season long, I'll be giving you my thoughts and getting you ready for the upcoming college football weekend on the SEC Digital Network. This program is all about the Southeastern Conference. And as you know, I've been involved with this great conference for roughly 50 years. I started out at Auburn, first as a quarterback in 1951. When my playing career was finished, I went into the Marine Corps and then joined legendary coach Shug Jordan's staff as an assistant coach. Following a decade as an assistant on the plains of Auburn, I was named head coach at the University of Georgia in 1964.
Members of the Georgia football team, and that you represent yourself, you represent your family, you represent your hometown, and you represent the University of Georgia and the Georgia football team.
I was, amazingly, only 31 years old at the time, and can you believe that? During my time leading the Bulldogs, I was honored to coach some great players, and we were fortunate to have won a lot of football games.
And off to Herschel, there's a hole. 5, 10, 12, he's running over people. Oh, you Herschel Walker.
In fact, we won 6 Southeastern Conference titles, including 3 in a row from 1980 to 1982. Our 1980 team was declared the undisputed national champions.
Walker, touchdown.
1, Lindsay, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, Lindsay, stop, Lindsay, stop, Lindsay, stop.
After hanging up my coaching whistle in 1988, I devoted full time as athletic director, and I served that position for 25 years until 2004. The point is, over my combined 50-plus years of experience, I've seen a lot of great football around the Southeastern Conference. And now, I'm going to share some of that experience with you. So what will our program look like? Well, we'll travel around the conference each week and get you ready for the best college football in the country. We'll talk to both coaches and players, and we will preview the upcoming SEC football weekends. In addition, we'll also look back at some classic moments in SEC history. In other words, if you love SEC football and you're getting ready for game day, the SEC Kickoff is the show for you and for me. Okay, that's who we are and what we're all about. Now it's time to get down to business and talk a little football. Of course, the biggest story headed into this first SEC football weekend. 2 new members will officially start playing in the conference, the Missouri Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies.
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
These are both excellent schools and will bring exciting offenses to the conference.
Franklin dropping back with time. Franklin's got to make something happen. Looking for the first down. He gets it. Still running. James Franklin spinning on his feet. Touchdown Tigers. What a play by the sophomore quarterback. A 20-yard score.
Here's Michael on the handoff, and he's still going. Being chased inside the 10. Touchdown, Texas A&M.
For Missouri, keep your eyes on quarterback James Franklin. Head coach Gary Pinkel runs a version of the spread offense, and Franklin is the man who makes it go. A year ago, he completed 63% of his passes for nearly 2,900 yards and 21 touchdowns. Franklin also rushed for nearly 900 yards with 9 more scores. And that's a dual threat if there ever was one. Under new coach Kevin Sumlin, Texas A&M is looking to make some noise in the SEC. Based on his offensive success at Houston, A&M fans are expecting the Aggies to move the ball up and down the field on offense. A key, as I see it, for Coach Sumlin and the Aggies, the entire offensive line returns for the Aggies. A unit that allowed only 9 sacks in 13 games. That's 9 sacks the entire season, and that's pretty darn good. As you can see, these 2 new offenses are likely going to give defensive coordinators in this league some fits. But remember, SEC defenses are a little tougher than those in the Big 12. So it will be interesting to see what happens. There are also 2 new head coaches in the league this year. Hugh Freeze takes over at Ole Miss. He led Arkansas State to a 10-2 record in 2011 and the Sun Belt Conference Championship. At Arkansas, John L. Smith steps in for the 2012 season. Smith is no stranger to being a head coach. He was one for 19 years. He was previously the head coach at Idaho, Utah State, Louisville, and Michigan State. And he also had experience at Arkansas as a special teams coach.
Here we go. On sound. Got it.
As the conference looks for a 7th consecutive BCS title, several teams are starting out in the top 25. The USA Today Coaches Poll has LSU as preseason number 1. Alabama checks in at number 2. Georgia is ranked 6th. South Carolina is 9th. And Arkansas is 10th. Folks, that's half of the top 10. The SEC has definitely earned respect around the nation. One of the games I'm most interested in watching this week is Auburn taking on Clemson at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. These 2 schools have quite the history and actually have a lot in common. They're both land-grant institutions. They both have Tiger mascots. And the father of Clemson football, Walter Riggs, who coached the first Clemson football team in 1896, actually was an Auburn graduate and played on Auburn's first football team in 1892. How about that for a little history lesson? For this week's SEC Flashback, let's stay with Auburn versus Clemson and look back to the 2010 game when quarterback Cam Newton led the Tigers from Auburn to a thrilling overtime victory.
Tonight, Auburn Tigers attempt to reassert their dominance in an old non-conference rivalry against the Clemson Tigers. Pump fake. Gonna go deep. Go for the end zone. Hartford dives for it. What a grab! Touchdown, Clemson! One of the catches of the year. Oh my baby! Here's Newton. Oh, look at the time he gets it. Finally hit at the end. He's got a man wide open. End zone ahead. Touchdown, Terrell Zachary. 78 yards. Auburn wins it in overtime.
Cam Newton was a tremendous football player. Who knew on that September evening back in 2010 that Newton would go on to rewrite the SEC record books and win the Heisman Trophy in a landslide? In addition to flashing back to a classic SEC game each week, we also are going to sit down and visit with an SEC head coach each week. Throughout the season, we'll visit with coaches and get their perspective on games that day in the SEC. We'll learn about their weekly routines and find out if they have any superstitions. I had a few I might mention. I'll also share some of my favorite game week memories with you as we go. This week, we're visiting with Auburn head coach Gene Chizik as his team prepares to head to Atlanta. Coach Chiswick will give us a little insight on preparation as he leads up to the big opening football game.
I think that we've done a good job over the years, whether it be bowl games or opening games or off weeks. We spend a lot of time evaluating and assessing exactly what you need to do with your football team to get them ready to play. And you can't have them under ready, you can't have them over ready. So we'll spend a lot of time doing that, but obviously it's very, very important that on that night or on that day, they're ready to play the football game. There's challenges that come with that, especially when you have new offense and defensive coordinators. The challenges that I think go with that are obvious, but on the flip side of that, what an exciting time. What a great time for the fans. What a great time for the kids. In 4 years at Auburn right now, we haven't started the season with this type of football game, so I think it's going to be exciting for everybody.
Now that we've heard Coach Chiswick's thoughts on the opening game, let's jump right into my weekend rundown. Early in the season, it's always a challenge, and particularly in this case of South Carolina, that looks to be on paper one of the top teams in the league. They're going up to play a Vanderbilt team that last year showed some great moments and great potentials under the new coach Franklin. So I think that South Carolina's going to have a struggle up in Nashville. Anything can happen in that first game, and it ought to be a great one. Well, I have a personal interest in that game, of course. This is the third year of our son Derek, and I think his team will be a little better. The schedule will be a little better, but it's not an easy schedule to start off with. So it's going to be an exciting game. Well, that ought to be a wonderful football game. Clemson's got a lot of good players coming back, great athlete at receiver. Auburn is a sound football team. Gene Chiswick is an excellent football coach, and I think we've got another great football game to watch. Alabama, we know, will be good. Quarterback is back. I think the real strength of this Alabama team is up front, offensively in the line and defensively in the line. They've lost some good receivers, some good running backs, but I always believe it's what's up front that counts, and Alabama has that, and that's why they're going to be contenders once again for perhaps a national championship. Well, that game has gotten to be a big football game because of the fact of those two institutions in the state. You've got two good coaches, and both have good programs. So in so many cases, these games, particularly early, are ventures into the unknown. And we'll know a lot more about all of them after that first ball game. Well, there you have it, the first episode of SEC Kickoff. It's been 234 days since Alabama and LSU battled for the BCS championship in New Orleans. The 2012 college football season is upon us, and the march to crown a new champion begins this weekend. Enjoy the games, folks, and I'll see you next week on SEC Kickoff.